Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Faith. Today I'll be sharing a tutorial with you on how I made this lovely dress. So if this looks like something you're interested in, then stay tuned, watch to the end, and don't forget to like, comment and share, and also to subscribe to my channel. Thank you. So now let's go straight into the tutorial. Alright, so I have my fabric on fold here, and it's on fold. I'll be starting with the center front, that's the front part of the dress, and then when we are done I'll use the front to cut out the back. Okay, today we are not working with pattern paper, so we'll be marking directly on the fabric. Now the first measurement I'll be marking out my horizontal lines first, and I'll be starting with my chest line first. Now my chest line is 8.6, and I arrived at this 8.6 by dividing my bust by 6, then I added 1.5 and then 1 inch again for shoulder slope. So that was how I came about the 8.6. Now the next line is going to be my shoulder to bust, and my shoulder to bust line is 10. The next line is going to be my waistline, my shoulder to waist, and I have that to be 16 inches. The next also is going to be from my shoulder to my hip, and that is going to be 26 inches. The next line is going to be from my hip to my knee, and I made use of 9 inches from the hip line. Okay, now the length of the gown I'm working with is going to be 60 inches, but I'll be marking that later on. My table is not up to 60 inches, so when I screw up I will do that. Now the shoulder I'm working with is 16. 16 plus 1 will give me 17. 17 divided by 2 is 8.5. Now my shoulder slope is 1 inch, which I marked there. Now my neck depth is going to be 3 by 3.5. And I'll connect those lines now. Okay. Next, I'll input my back neckline. Since I'm going to be using this to cut out the back, so I might as well just input the neckline there. Okay, and I used the same 3 by 1.5. I'll go ahead now and connect my shoulder slope to my neckline. The next thing will be for me to bring down my shoulder measurement on my chest line, and then I'll connect that from my shoulder slope to that mark with a straight line so that I can finish up my armhole. Now I'll measure that line, divide it by 2, then go in by 0.5. I'll connect that point to my shoulder slope. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to bring down my bust measurement on my chest line. Now this fabric is a little stretchy, so I'm going to be deducting 1 inch from every of my measurement. So my bust circumference is 36.5, I'll deduct 1, which is going to give me 35.5. 35.5 divided by 4 will give me 8.75. And then I added 2 inches for allowance to give me 10.25 there. Now I'll bring it down on my bust line. Now for my waistline, my waist is 29 minus 1, that will be 28. Now 28 divided by 4 will give me 7. And then I added 2 inches for seam allowance, which gave me 9 there. Now I'll connect my bust from my bust point to my waistline. I'll move on to my hip line. Now on the hip, my hip measurement is 39 minus 1 will give me 38. 38 divided by 4 will be 9.5. Then I added 2 inches for seam allowance, which gave me 11.5. I'll also go ahead now and connect this point to my waistline. Okay, so you can see. Now on my knee line, what I did was, what I have on my hip, I deducted 1 inch from it and I brought it down, which was 10.5. Now I connected it and then I saw that I wasn't getting the shape I wanted on the knee. So I went in further by 0.5. Okay. So I tightened the knee a little further by extra 1.5, 0.5 there. Okay. Now I decided to pin it up so that it won't be moving, because I need to move my fabric up now and then to get the actual length of the gown. Okay. Okay, so now I just measured from my shoulder to my knee to know what I have there, so that when I move it up, I'll just complete it. Okay. Okay, so now I'll just complete the length of my gown. Okay, so now that I have that line there, on my hemline, what I did was I took what I have on my hip line, then I multiplied it. I multiplied it by 2, and then I brought down what I had there. Now I just want to adjust it a little further so that you can see what I'll be doing there. So this is me trying to blend up the line I have there, and to make sure I have a straight line. Okay. Now on the at the edge there, I went up by 2 inches, and then I'm trying to blend it into the hem. Next thing will be for me to cut out now. Now I'll leave the neckline because of the back, and I also decided to pin it so that it will be easy for me to place on the back. Okay guys, so at this point I've placed it on the back, and you can see that I have a zipper allowance of 1 inch. Okay, now this is my back neckline and I'm extending it into the back there. Okay, now for my shoulder slope, I went up by 1 inch, sorry, half an inch for the back. Okay, alright. Now the next thing we're going to do is on the waistline. So I want to tighten the back, the center back there. So on the waistline, I went in by 0.5. Okay, now from that 0.5, I'll connect it back straight up like so. That's like to the upper body part now. And then I'll also take it down to the hip line. Now, so this is where my hip line is. I'll mark it out and then connect it back like this. Okay, so now that I've taken out half an inch, 0.5 there, I'll come back to the waistline on the side seam and add back that 0.5 which I took out. Can you see? Okay, so now we are done. The next thing will be for me to cut out. Okay, so I'll move it up and then start cutting from the hem. Okay, so now that I've cut the back neckline, I can easily cut out my front neckline now. Alright, okay. So now next thing will be for me to separate the back for the center back. You know, right now it's on fold and it's not supposed to be on fold because we're supposed to have a zipper there. So I'll cut it open now. Now remember we have a back tightening of 0.5 there. So I'll cut that out. Alright, okay. Now I'll trim off every excess I have there just to have it smooth and clean. Okay, so now I have my front and the back cut out complete. Next thing will be for me to set this aside and then we'll continue. Okay, alright guys, so the next thing will be for me to cut out the sleeve. I have a fabric shortage there, so I had to join. That's why you are seeing that line there. Now the sleeve length I'm working with is 25. Okay, so I'll roll out that line now. Now my cap height is 4 inches. Now this sleeve we are drafting, if you notice the sleeve is fitted to the elbow and then it flared out from the elbow. Okay. Now I'll also impute my shoulder to elbow measurement and I have that to be 12 inches. Okay. Now my armhole measurement is 7.6. I'll add sewing allowance of 2 inches, which is going to give me 9.6. Now I'll connect that to the top of my line there, to the top of the sleeve there. Now I'll divide that line into two and then create my armhole curve using my free hand. Okay, now next thing is for me to come to the elbow. My round elbow is 12, which is 6. Now 6 plus allowance of 2 inches gave me 8. Now from my elbow now, I'm just going to flare it out to, I'll exhaust what I have there, the whole measurement I have there, the whole fabric I have there. So I'll just flare it to the end like so. Alright, now on the edge there, I decided to use 1 inch, just to go up by 1 inch there, and then I'm going to cut out now. Okay, at this point my sleeve is ready. Can you see? Okay, so I'll set it aside also. Now we want to cut facing for our dress. So we're going to cut facing both for the front and for the back. Alright, now for the front, since you have your front on fold, you have to place it also on fold. Alright, so all you need to do is just trace your neckline measurement on the fabric you have for your facing. Don't forget to trace your shoulder also. Now for my shoulder, I went in from the neckline by 4 inches. Which means my facing is going to be 4 inches wide. So I'll mark round the neckline by that 4 inches. Now I can cut out. Okay, so our facing for the front is ready. I'll repeat the same process for the back, only that since this is the back, the center back is not on fold, so you don't have to place your back neckline on fold. Now it's the same process, you just trace out your neckline and then you trace out your shoulder also. Now from the neckline, I also measured the shoulder by the same 4 inches. Okay, so I'll cut out my back facing now. All right. Now our back facing is ready and we'll set this aside now. Okay, now this is my fabric and I've marked 1.5 inches on each line you are seeing here. Now this is what we'll be using for our loops and the rope which we're going to be using to tie the loop. Okay, so I'll cut them out now and then we'll continue in this tutorial. Alright guys, so now to continue, the first thing we're going to be doing is to knitting our neckline on 1/2 inch. So this is the front and we'll repeat the same thing for the back also. Okay, you place your facing on it, right side facing right side. And then you sew on 1/2 inch. Okay, alright guys, so this is it. I've knitted the neckline, can you see? And I used hemming gum for the front, but for the back I'm yet to use hemming gum because I need the back to knitting the shoulder. And to do that, I'll just place my shoulders on each other, right side facing right side, and then I'll use my back facing to turn over the front shoulder to knitting it. You can see the way I did. It's just like you are carrying your front shoulder and then you are putting it in the middle of the back. That's in between the main fabric for the back and the facing. So you're going to sew on 1/2 inch and then you repeat the same thing for the second shoulder. Alright guys, so this is it. My shoulder is ready. You can see. Alright, now the next thing will be for us to sew the side seam for both sides. But before we do that, remember we have loops to fix to the side. Okay, so I've sewn the ropes. Now the next thing I'll do is for me to turn them out, and when I turn them out, then we'll come and input our measurements and then we'll fix the loop and sew the side seams. Okay, so I'll do that now and then come back. All right, okay guys, so this is it. Can you see I have my loops turned and cut out already, and I've also marked my side seam measurement. Now what I just did was to mark 2 inches. If you remember, it was 2 inches we used for the side seam, and you can see my loops. Now I cut it out in 4 inches, the length of 4 inches. Okay, and you want to cut them out in even number. If you have 10, you can have 10, 12, 14, like so, because you are inputting on both sides. It has to be an even number. Now our loop is supposed to start from the waistline, so the first one I'll be putting it on the waistline like so. So how you fix it is that when you pick one of these loops that you have cut out, you're going to be folding it. You fold it into two, and then the edge with the fold is what will be facing the inside. Then the two rough edges will be outside. That will be like it will be on the side of the same allowance. Can you see? You don't fix it like that. You turn it. This side that is on fold will turn and face the main side of the dress, and then the two edges will be on the outside seam, which is the same allowance. Now I'll be spacing my loops by 3 inches because they need to cross, so I'll be spacing them with 3 inches. So you can just watch and notice the way, look at the way I'm fixing them. That's how you're going to be fixing them, all of them. And you have to make sure that for both sides that they are equal. Okay, let them be on almost on the same line to each other. Okay. Okay, all right. So it's this basically the same process you're going to be repeating until you have them all fixed there. Now you're going to be fixing it from the waistline to below the hip line. I'm going to be stopping like 3 inches before my knee line. Okay, so that's how you can just, depending on your preference anyway, maybe a little higher than mine or a little lower, it doesn't really mean. Okay, it's all about choice and preference at this point. Okay, so at this point I'll just quickly run you through how I fixed the rest. It's the same process, dear soulmates. So just continue and repeat it the same way until you are done. Okay. Alright, so now I'm close to the knee and you can see that I decided to measure 3 inches up from my knee line. So that's where I'll be fixing the last one. Okay. I just decided to show you that. Alright. And you can see that I'm cross-checking to make sure that what I have is equal on both sides. Okay. Okay guys, so now that I'm done, the next thing will be to sew on both sides straight down. Okay, so I'll do that now. Alright guys, can you see our gown is beginning to take shape and it's beginning to look beautiful. Can you see our loops? Alright, now the next thing will be for us to close the center back and also to fix our zipper. Okay, so you want to make sure that your back is equal, and what you're going to do now is to take out the length of your zipper, how long you want your zip to be. I'll recommend that your zip is long enough for you to be able to wear, because this is a fitted gown. So my own zipper is going to stop at 22 inches. I'll do that now and show you. Okay guys, can you see? So I've fixed my zipper. Can you see how it looks? And I use the facing to turn that side so that it can be neat. This is the best way to turn, to fix your zipper and to also finish it up with your facing. And you can see how it looks. You can see it's neat. Now another tip I want to share with you is when working with a light fabric like this and you are not lining it, to fix your zipper you want to add hairstay to your 1 inch allowance there so that it can make your fabric thick and have weight enough to hold the zipper. Okay, now the next thing will be for us to work on our sleeves. Okay, and what you want to do is to take out your allowance which you added to the elbow there, and then you stop there. Now you repeat the same thing for the second one, then you sew on your allowance to the elbow. Okay, so I'll do that now and come show you. Alright guys, so can you see I've sewn to my elbow and I stopped there. Now the allowance I have there is quite much, so I'll trim it off, and then from the elbow there I'll just blend it into where it flared out. Okay, so now that I have it like this, what I'm to do is to neaten that edge. You can serge it if that's what you want, but I want to turn mine. Okay, so I'll use that allowance there to turn, to knitting that side of the side seam that we're going to be leaving open. Okay, so I'll do that now for both sleeves, and then I'll come show you what I have. Okay guys, so this is the sleeves. Can you see? These are the sleeves. Okay, and I've knitting them out. Next thing will be for us to just fix it to the blouse, to the armhole rather, and don't forget to hem the down of your gown, and that's all. Okay guys, so our gown is ready. Can you see? Now I'll just show you how to lace your dress. Can you see? Now you want to make sure that your rope is equal on both sides of the dress. So you try to make sure they are equal. And when they are, you just lace it. Just the same way you lace your corset. Okay, it's the same process. You just lace it like so. Okay. Now you just make sure that they cross each other on both sides. You keep passing your rope to opposite directions of each other. Can you see? Alright, so this is it. Can you see? So this is the final look of our gown. Can you see? I'll put it on now for you to see. Okay, so this is it. Can you see the gown? Can you see how it looks? And you can see how the lacing is. Alright guys, so I want to hear your opinion, comments in the comment section. So please drop a comment for me, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.